Hello everyone, I'm Chester44 and welcome to this Let's Play of Avernum 3. Last game, actually, do I really need to go over everything? I mean, it's Avernum 3. We're moving on to the next game in the series. And from what I remember, this one had the biggest demo. So this is probably going to be a pretty long one, I am only imagining. And yes, that does look like green grass and forests and fields and a burning city and ocean and sky in Avernum. We'll see what that means soon enough. So we may as well start a new game. And it pretty much starts the same way as you would expect. 4 characters, you got Slith and Nephil options. So, just so I don't waste a lot of time in the start, I'm just going to get the characters made. Okay, I believe we are done and all the characters are made. And I've decided to go with a slight change to my normal setup of fighter, rebel, cleric, and sorcerer. We still have a sorcerer, Pollux, who is a natural mage, but unfortunately had the problem in that he was kinda cursed at birth. Not the best situations, probably gonna have a couple problems. Hopefully it won't be too terrible. Then we have Carl, who is... he's got a bit of an anger issue, and is a bit of a berserker. Fortunately, I think he's going to be able to use that ability in order to enter a rage of sorts, but for now he's very good with melee weapons. I plan to have him wielding a greatsword. Then we have Nippur, who is going to be our first Nephil that we've seen in these Let's Plays, who is going to be a Nephil rogue. Actually, I think that's a better choice for matching it. Basically going to be running around, sneaking and stabbing, and using tool use and the like. Oh, actually... yeah, I can help with that. Yeah, I think that. Oh, nah, give it to tool use. And finally, we have Teresa, who I have actually decided to make a slightly custom character that I have decided to dub the Slith War Priest. She's basically got enough skill in priest spells to be a cleric and healer of the sorts, but I'm also giving her skill with pole weapons, some strength as well. Basically, she's meant to be a priest who can fight on the front lines with the best of them. So, when worst comes to worst, she can charge forward and just start stabbing people. And hopefully, that'll work well. It should. And that's the 4 we're going to go with. So, without further ado, let's get this started. Legends tell that Avernum is the gateway to the underworld, from which the dead never return. Avernum is also a real place. It is many miles of caves and tunnels far below the world's surface. The Empire rules the surface totally. When they discovered Avernum, they had the perfect use for it. A prison. Everyone who didn't fit in, the rebels, the antisocial, the disliked, they were teleported to Avernum forever. The Avernites were not inactive. They built subterranean cities. They learned to fight. They studied magic. They built their strength. And, when they were ready, they got their revenge. The Archmage Erica made her own teleporter. Emperor Hawthorne ruled the Empire. He was brilliant and ruthless and despised. What? Oh dear. Holla? Yes. It is time to deal with Avernum. Yes, Galzad. Avernum struck down the Emperor. 4 years later, the Empire invaded. Avernum was outgunned and outnumbered. The Empire War was thought lost, until Avernum found an ally. The alien Venati joined you, and turned the tide. The Empire was expelled. Avernum won the Empire War. 5 years passed. Nothing was heard from the Empire. The Avernites decided that it was time to return to the surface. They built a teleporter and formed Upper Avernum, a new series of caves just below the surface. They then selected someone to explore the surface for the first time. You. Your testing was extensive. And very painful. Your briefing was considerable. This is a tree. What's it for? And confusing. You were sent up to Fort Emergence in Upper Avernum. You were to go see someone named Anaximander to get your orders and then go up to the surface. All Avernum waits on you. All wait to see what you'll find. They want to return to the surface. You carry the dreams of your people. Good luck. Okay, there we go. Sorry about that. There was a small problem with things. Okay, welcome to Avernum 3. Yes, we know about all that. And look at that! We actually have background sounds now. Alright, let's give people their things. Also, I'm going to switch Teresa with Pollux. That way, Teresa can guard up the back. I'll just have to get used to it. Teresa can hold on to all of our food. Pollux, you can give that to Carl. Alright, let's see. You've got the armor and everything. You're armored up. Oh, you actually start with a stone spear. Nice. And Pollux is prepared. Alright, let's see if we can grab a few things. Javelins, shirts, boots. Boots are definitely something to start with. And a Anaximander note. Let's take a look at this. This is a simple map of the northern half of Fort Emergence. On the back it says, pick up your supplies and come see me as soon as you can. Anaximander. So we're over here. That way leads to the caves, that way to the surface. We got supplies for us over here, and his office is way up there. Okay. And yes, this is something very nice that we have. Notes and the like. Alright, pants. Give those to Pollux. We can't have him running around without pants. More food to Teresa. Lockpicks to Nippur. And a healing potion to Carl. Alright. Just open the door. Yes. You step out of your quarters and into one of the many cavernous halls of Fort Emergence. The corridors are eerily quiet. Only a small fraction of the troops that will be stationed here have arrived yet. It's time to go and get your orders. We can do that. But let's look around a bit first. For example, we have someone here. You meet a young, scrawny man with short, sandy brown hair. He bows respectfully to you as you approach. Greetings to you, adventurers. I am Gordon. Exactly what is it you do? Well, I'm sort of the servant for the guest quarters. I sort of keep everything clean, prepare meals, that sort of thing. Why would the guests get their own servant? Well, when important guests such as yourselves come, they expect to be treated well, with as much luxury as we can summon. That sort of thing. Unfortunately, there's one problem. We're important guests? He looks at you as if you were terribly important people. You're the most important guest we've had yet. Why, you're going to be some of the first explorers to seriously look around on the surface. I really envy you. I suppose that we are very fortunate. To go out on the surface, and maybe even live. What I would give to be you. Be sure to come back and tell me what it's like. What that problem would be? Well, we're trying to get the fort ready for all the troops that will eventually be here. Unfortunately, we're not totally ready yet. Please, don't try to get me into trouble. It's not my fault if anything goes wrong. I just sweep. I thought you said you were responsible for the guest quarters. Yes, and this is my main responsibility. He grabs a broom and sweeps a little by way of demonstration. Can you get us some meals, please? He looks nervous. There's a bit of a problem with that. The fort is sort of not entirely ready, and I don't have the supplies up here to cook yet. Perhaps if you went to see Elisa? Fine. Where is Elisa? She runs the main kitchen in the southwest corner of the fort. She gives lots of food to anyone who asks. Do you know where we can find some supplies? Oh, that reminds me. I was supposed to tell you. There's a storeroom to the west, south of Anaximander's office. There's a side room there with a bunch of stuff for you. Alright, thank you. Also, let me just take a look here. Yep, Carl can go berserk if ever he needs. Meanwhile, we have various spells and the like for Teresa, and... yes, for Pollux and Teresa. Okay. You enter the Fort Emergence Training Hall. You can come here when you want to improve your adventuring skills. Fair enough. Good that there's a training hall right here. A young lithe woman with dark skin stands gracefully in the center of the room, performing various martial exercises. A vicious curved sword is sheathed at her side. She gives you a stiff bow. Welcome. I am Yanmitho, the trainer for Fort Emergence. Who can you train? She looks at you with distaste. I am here to train soldiers to the best of my ability. I can also train others. She says others with great disdain. You can't help but guess her contempt is aimed at you. Do you have some problem with us? You work for covert operations, do you not? I am not afraid to say I have little respect for your lot. We're all fighting the same enemy. Pah! Covert operations is a ragtag band of untrained adventurers, amateur spies, and mixed hangers-on. We soldiers train hard and die for our cause. You wander around aimlessly and expect respect. And yet King Micah gives the first contact with the surface to your undisciplined lot. King Micah is a wise ruler, and we will not tolerate any insults of our sovereign. Of course, it is not to such as me to question the wisdom of my monarch, even if he is wrong. Very well then. Let's take a look. Okay, we can leave a character here if we really need to. Couple coins, always a good thing to have. And in here... can we pick this lock? We can! Anything of use in here? An energy potion, yes please. We'll give that to Teresa. Okay. Oh, that's the person from over there. Meow! Guest quarters. The beast looks up at you mutely. You match gazes with it, trying to achieve some sort of common ground. In the end, you feel personally enriched, but you learn nothing. These barracks are still pristinely clean and completely unused. No soldiers have been brought up to fill them yet, but it probably will happen soon. Okay, fair enough. These barracks are incomplete. The floor and wall in the corner aren't done yet, and some of the furniture is still on the way. Soon, though, this chamber will be completed and filled with anxious Avernite soldiers. I suppose it makes sense. Ah, that's the way out. Okay, let's look around elsewhere a bit. Let's see. Reagent Development and Processing. You are at the west end of the main Fort Emergence laboratory. Here, specimens from the surface world are brought to be carefully examined. Avernites have forgotten much about the flora and fauna of the surface, and it all needs to be relearned. In addition, alchemical herbs are being grown in long stone pots at the east end of the chamber. They are then made into potions to be given to soldiers stationed here to aid them in case of an Empire attack. Okay. This woman is quite young, probably in her mid-20s, but she radiates power well beyond her years. She levels a piercing gaze at you. I am Mazumdar, head mage of Fort Emergence. She's carrying a pot in her hands containing an actual surface flower. So what do you do exactly? I coordinate all magical activities that take place in Fort Emergence. Why is that important? Coordination is very important. If two mages attempt conflicting spells simultaneously... She draws her finger across her throat in a slitting sort of motion. I can understand that. What sorts of magical activities go on here? This fort will eventually be used for experimentation, training, and launching magical spells against our foes. However, the Triad keeps us from being nearly as powerful as we could be. What is a Triad, and why are they interfering? The Triad consists of the three greatest mages of Avernum. They are in charge of all things magical. Unfortunately, they tend to not want to let power out of their control. For that reason, our resources are nowhere near what they could be. With exceptions. Exceptions such as... We are supposed to be training mages here, yet the Triad won't let us have the books to teach spells from. However, we've managed to sneak a few things past them. We need those tomes after all. That sounds interesting. May we read some of your tomes? Mazumdar thinks and then slowly shakes her head. I'm sorry, but it is too much of a risk to say more. If certain things were known, it would cause us great trouble. Mazumdar smiles. What else is it you want? You notice that she has a slightly translucent skin common to people born in Avernum. Does this fort have many mages? This fort is still painfully understaffed. However, if we have our way, it will soon be a great center of magical power. That is, if the Triad allows it. You are doing research with surface plants? Why, of course! When the first group went out to explore the surface, they came back with surface plants, surface animals, dirt, all sorts of things for us. What sort of plant is that? I am told it was called a dandelion. Something like that. It is very strange, but the more we relearn about surface ways, the better we will be. Why do you need to research things on the surface? I mean, it's been only 9 years. Remember, it has been years since the last people were sent to Avernum. For years, all any of us have known about the surface came from books or hazy memories. I was born in Avernum. I've never even been up there. So this laboratory is engaged in the act of relearning. We need to rediscover knowledge people on the surface take for granted. Oh, okay then, I suppose. These are runes of confining, designed to hold all manner of dangerous creatures. When you step near one, every hair on your body stands on end. It's not a comfortable feeling. If you step directly onto one, you would have a real problem. Okay, don't step onto the runes of confining. This room is magically kept hot and humid and is filled with a refreshing plant smell. To the north is a wide variety of flora, neatly organized and ready for careful study by the fort mages. When you step on the rune, a misty cloud of liquid shoots out of a hole in the ceiling. It envelops you and makes your skin sting and your eyes water. Then it dissipates. This must be some sort of magical cleaner to be used in case of lab accidents. Huh. I like that they have something like that there. And here, you meet a small, bent wizard, heavy with ears. He is poring over a thick book, researching esoteric topics you can never begin to comprehend. He looks up at you vacantly and croaks, I am Bera. I hope you are not here to waste my time. What are you working on? I mainly concern myself with doing research. If only the facilities here were adequate. How are the facilities lacking? He croaks in irritation. Now, if I was at the Tower of Magi, I would have all the tomes and materials I need, but here I have little to work with. What is the Tower of Magi like? The Tower of Magi is the center of magical learning in Avernum. Oh, what I would give to be there. The research I could perform. What sort of research are you doing? Devising immensely powerful spells, communicating with beings beyond your comprehension, gaining absolute power. Nothing you could possibly understand. You're probably just here to waste my time. Bera looks over you, but his eyes are unfocused. He may be talking with you, but it is clear that his mind is wandering in realms far away. Can you give us magical training? He looks at you with confusion, then shock, then anger. Do I look like some teacher, some professor, some guide from mere adventures? The training hall is to the north. Bother them and leave me in peace. Why are you so rude? Aren't we all in this together? Apparently not. Oh, shush, you old fart. This chamber is thick with the raw stink of animal feed and fresh dung. There are cells ringing the room, several of which hold strange creatures from the surface world. They must be here for study. This young woman's robes were probably clean this morning. Now they have bits of fur and tiny clumps of dung on them. She curtsies, self-consciously brushing fur and such off of her robe as she does so. I'm Ava. What sort of work are you doing? I'm here to research the flora and fauna of the surface world. Spies brought some samples back. We can also magically summon samples from the surface world, examine them in their cells, and teleport them back up. And if they are damaged, I heal them. What is this flora of which you speak? You know, plants. If you find any unusual creatures on the surface, ask me about them. Maybe I'll know something. What is that round, white, furry thing in the north cell? The surface people call it a sheep. It is a very stupid surface meat creature. Do you know anything about bears or wolves? Surface carnivores. They'll take a bite out of you if they get the chance. Have you done any research on wolves? Wolves are occasionally vicious furry creatures, slightly smaller and less dangerous than giant lizards. Beware wargs, though. A warg is a type of wolf bred for huge size, ill temper, and a dim, malevolent intelligence. And what have you learned of bears? They are large and potentially dangerous, although usually they would be more than happy to just leave you alone. You should, however, beware the Ursagi. The Ursagi are a sort of intelligent mutant bear. They're very evil. We captured one and it almost picked the lock of its cell with its claw. It would have been a horrible mess if it had escaped. Oof, that's new and dangerous. Ava continues to pick at the dirt on her robe. I can spare some more time for my research. What would you like to speak of? You notice that her skin is translucent and her hair is prematurely graying. She must have been born in Avernum. What is fauna? Oh, we actually already asked about that, kinda. Why do you use teleportation to gather your specimens? It's a difficult technique, but remember, we need to stay hidden from the Empire as long as possible. Do you have anything in the cells now? There are some interesting samples in there right now. Please don't let them out. You heal them. Can you heal other things like me? She can indeed, though we don't need it. But thank you. There's a wolf. And that would be a sheep. Alright, well, that's everything there. Offices of the Magery. Violators will be towed. That is a horrible pun! The southern courtyard of Fort Emergence is crowded with large carts and the giant lizards who pull them. Massive piles of supplies ship in and out of this fort. All of the settlements of Upper Avernum are still works in progress. Fortunately, you don't have to worry about assault from these giant lizards. Though the creatures are innately fierce and stupid, the merchants who own them constantly dull their teeth and claws. Oh, that's a plus. A short, middle-aged woman with heavy chain armor watches the rear gate. She keeps a short but wicked-looking spear close at hand. She looks over to you. I am Ilona. Her voice has a heavy accent you can't quite place. I am guarding here. Where are you from? I can't quite place your accent. She looks embarrassed that you mention it. I am from very far away. I speak other language and then get banished to Avernum. I had to learn quickly. My apologize. Why were you banished to Avernum? An official was telling me to do things, foolish things, and I told him what I thought of the things he said I should be doing. And so all this happens to me. Unbelievable. How else can I be helping you? What are you guarding? I am watching the rear gate. Not a risky job, it is true, but one that needs to be getting doing. Her speech is very strange. So all is quiet? Yes. If the attack is to be coming from the Empire, from the north it will come. From the south all I see are fresh green troops and supplies. So many supplies it is unbelievable. Out this way is Upper Avernum, mainly the caves and a few Avernum towns. The south gate isn't as important? It is not like North Gate. That is the way to the Sunnylands, and so has many guards. If the Empire is finding us, the North Gate is where it will be very bloody quickly. Can you tell me anything about what is past this gate? Leave to the south and you will be in Large Cave. Many miles across, that Avernum is settled. Many towns are there. Just follow the roads. Okay. Keep that in mind.